Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing a little review on a new machine from YesWelder. So in this box we have a YesWelder YWA-160. It's a new machine they've come out with. It's an inverted stick welder. And you might be saying, DubWerks, why a stick welder? You wouldn't use that in a body shop. Well, that's correct. However, not everyone's working on, cars. You might be looking for a welder around the house or in your shop where you're welding thick steel, 1/8 inch plate, 1/4 inch plate, and this could be a machine that you consider. So, nice little machine it feels like. It's very light, which is nice. These new welders, I said it in the last video, I'll say it again, the new welders that are very lightweight, I absolutely love it. So, the side of the box says stick and lift TIG, which is going to be interesting if it is indeed a lift TIG machine. I don't know. Because if it is, that would be good for auto body as well. So we've got our standard operator's manual here, and this one says stick welding machine. But I believe I have read that stick welders can be TIG welders, so if that has the option, then that's the option. Ground cable, of course. Get the machine out. Inside we have the stick electrode holder. Stick machines are very, very basic. They're probably the most basic of welders. You could stick weld with a car battery, pretty sure. But looks like we got my favorite thing in the world, if you know me, which is the 220 to 110 adapter. I love that these machines that YesWelder puts out are both. It's just a great thing, in my opinion, to have the ability, oh, see, it does say stick and lift TIG. The ability to go on 110 in your home garage or at home, just in the yard, and if you have 220, make that an option. Now, it looks like a nice little machine right out the box, not having used it. It's about the size of a shoebox, maybe. Pretty lightweight. Like I said, I love the lightweight machines. Now it has the plastic cover that we're accustomed to now with the YesWelder, the plasma cutter, the MIG machine have that. And as it's a stick and lift TIG, obviously, as it says now, it's very simple inputs, positive and negative. You could basically weld with a car battery doing stick welding. So, let me get this thing set up, and we'll go from there. Now, this couldn't be easier. If you're confused as to what positive and negative is, the electrode holder is red. And wouldn't you believe that that would be the positive? Look at that. And then ground is normally always black. And I like the YesWelder grounds. They're pretty sturdy feeling. Nice copper. Type that there for now, so I can put this in. Boom. That's basically it. We've got the machine positive and the machine's negative hooked up. We'll take the adapter because I'm not going to plug it into 220. Since we're using the adapter, we'll plug it directly into the wall, however. But then we should be pretty good to go. So guys, before we use the machine, I was going through the manual, and I noticed that on page 7 of the current manual, they actually have a section on using it as a TIG welder, and it says if you want to use it as a TIG welder, you're going to have to get an adapter from them to use a TIG torch, and the TIG torch you use has to be a one-piece gas valve unit because this machine isn't set up to use gas. TIG machines need gas, so you'll have to do that. It also tells you how to set it up for stick welding for DC positive or DC negative. So for this machine, we have a variety of tests, but first let's look at the machine now that it's on. The display is going to be a little funky, but we have stick lift TIG, current, arc force, and VRD. And now you can adjust the current with the knob. However, if you'd like, it'll automatically set it to the size of the welding rod you're using. So 1/16, 3/32, and 1/8, all you do is press rod diameter and it'll change. And if you hold this, it'll change it to lift TIG. We'll go back to stick though. It'll bring it back to 60 like it was and leave it there. Now it'll stop and it'll go back to doing automatic. Now for our tests, we have some 1/8 inch sheet, or not sheet, it's flat stock, but we're gonna treat it as sheet. We're gonna try lap welding it. We're gonna do a bead here, and now we have some really thin sheet metal here. This is 20 gauge. And for the welding rod we'll be using, we have 6011 and 6013. Now, I've never stick welded before. This might turn you off of this video, but I think it's good because I'm going into this just like you would be. So I've done some research. 6011 seems to be a pretty standard all-purpose welding rod. 6013 is for thinner, delicate work. So we're going to try the 6011 on the 1/8 inch, and we're going to try the 6013 on the 20 gauge, and we'll try the 6013 on the 1/8 inch just to see what it does. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to set you up, I'm going to get a welding helmet on, and we're going to play around with it, because that's the fun of not knowing what you're doing, is you get to play with it and make mistakes and learn. Alright guys, so I didn't realize the camera died, or the memory card filled up rather, while I was working. But I was having a couple issues. My issue though was my lack of experience starting the arc. Otherwise, it started. Obviously they're not pretty. I don't know what I'm doing, but they are welds. They are holding. So let's do a bead here on this one right here. Look, a weld. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it will do if you need to do something at home. We're also working with some pretty dirty steel here, but gets the job done. I've got you guys a little farther back than I'd like to protect the camera. Welding is very bright. Technically, you're not really supposed to do it in front of a camera like this, but now that we've figured that out, that is starting the arc, let's try and weld some stuff together. So for the final test, I'm just going to play. I played with the settings a little. I bumped it up just a hair. I might play a little more, but we'll bump it down, I think. Do like 57. And we're just gonna go for one more lap weld here on the 1/8 inch. I'm mainly doing it on the 1/8 inch because that's most likely what you'd be using with a stick welder. Something thick like 1/8 inch, so. Okay. One of the things that I'm getting used to with stick welding is you really have to push the filler rod into the metal, which is a little different than MIG welding where it does it for you. So I'm here trying to just tack it and it's not really going because it's not supposed to. So, if we take a look, they're not terrible. This one's pretty good, actually, in my opinion. And it's just sticking them together. This is the most basic form of welding there is, but it's also a little difficult to start off with, it's appearing. But difficult might not be the right word. There is a learning curve doing this coming from MIG welding. If I had never MIG welded before and I had only done this, there would probably be a major learning curve doing that. So it's because I'm out of my comfort zone doing this. So we're going to go across here now. Got a fresh rod. This is 6011. I'm really liking this over the 6013, even on the thin metal actually. So overall though, metal's sticking together. Yeah, it's welded together. I don't think that's going to come apart. And it may not be pretty, but it'll get the job done. Let's take a look at what we've done. We've got a really nice weld, a splotchy weld, and they've gotten better. Definitely gotten better. Not the greatest. The thing is, I'm learning with the stick welder. That's why I think this is going to be a pretty good judge of a review. Because I don't know really what I'm doing. I'm basing all of my technique here on reading. So, getting into it with a machine that is a budget-friendly machine that's doing the job, that you can play with to adjust is definitely a good thing to do. But overall, I think we can only progress from here. The machine's working out pretty well for me. Alright guys, so we're going to wrap the video up here. Overall, I think this machine is really nice for what it is. It's a stick machine. So, it's not going to be like a MIG machine where the welds are perfectly pretty every time. And me, I've never used a stick welder until today. This was my first time using a stick welder. 3 hours ago, never had used one. So I got this out of the box, hooked it all up, got the electrodes at the tractor supply, and got to town. And other than a few issues, getting the arc started, which will come with practice, overall, I think I did a pretty okay job. They're not great. They might not even be good to some people, but the welds are there, they're stuck. They don't look horrendous, they don't look awesome though, but they are on there and they are stuck. So if you're trying, if you want to get into a stick welder for the first time, this might be the machine for you. I was able to do it, and if I can do it, basically anyone can do it. So, and if you're interested in any other welders or welding supplies, check out YesWelder. They don't just do stick welders, they do MIG, TIG, and plasma cutters. I have a MIG welder from them and a plasma cutter, and I like them both very much. I've done a video on both of them. If you're interested, check those out. But they work very well. I like YesWelder a lot. They're affordable, they do the job well, and they're very up-to-date. There's no dials. Well, there's dials, but rather there's no clicking knobs and, you can't adjust this, you can't adjust that. With the YesWelders, you get a lot of adjustability, even on this stick machine. This is basically an auto-set stick machine. You tell it what kind of rod you're using, thickness-wise, sets it in the general area, and it got it done. That's basically what I did with this. I only adjusted a very fine amount towards the end just to see what it would do, and it all turned out very well. So guys, with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. Until next time guys, take care. Make sure to check the description for the link to the YesWelder products. And until next time, I'll see you later guys. Bye.